Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are taking on the new event. This is the global exclusive event, Dimensions and Reprise. So this is stage 3. I'm only going to do videos on the Shinryu stages. So what it is it's actually kind of nice. I originally thought that every stage was going to be a Shinryu, but what they're doing is they're doing 2 Lufenias and then a Shinryu. So stage 3 is the tougher stage. The thing that's nice about this event, I think, for players that don't have as big of a roster, featured characters can be reused, but any other characters get locked out. So what you can kind of do is you can kind of pick a core of featured characters, right? So like, let's say you have Cloud and Setzer, you can just use them in every fight, and then your third character could be like a different character to fit the mechanic of the fight. That's kind of one way you can think about it, right? So what I ran with here is this fight really wants the enemies to be debuffed heavily. They get a ton of like stats and like ways that you can't damage them, and they do like really nasty things to you if you don't have debuffs on them. So I figured this is a good fight to bring Yuffie in. And I also brought Ferris. I like just went so heavy on debuffs. I'm like, I want to be able to debuff these guys constantly. I feel like this fight was maybe meant for Pain. I'm trying to remember who this fight was originally for. But it's something where like they want you to debuff and they want you to be able to cleanse and get rid of, or to dispel. They want you to dispel and they want you to add debuffs, right? So that's kind of what this fight is wanting. Now, the nice thing is with Setzer being a featured character, you can use him to cheese mechanics, right? So, like, I feel like this could be done without the debuffs if you run Setzer, but you have to be careful for other mechanics that the boss does. Because when these guys don't have debuffs on, like, you deal ones and, like, can't do HP damage to them, but Setzer would get around it. So, rainbow numbers will help, and then, like, max HP damage, right? So, I actually ran into this blind, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to use a full boosted team. So, I did, what was it, Cloud, Setzer, and Kane. And it kind of worked a little bit, but then I died, and I'm like, oh, this isn't really a smooth run. And then, like, I actually read the boss info. I'm like, well, what does the boss actually want? It's like, oh, they want debuffs. So I'm like, let's just actually build a team for it. I figured it wouldn't be that big of a deal, especially since, like, only every 3 stages it's going to be a Shinryu. So what they're doing is they're releasing these in pods of 3. So with Setzer, and I actually wasn't expecting this to drop yet, because on the community stream, it said we're getting a Dimensions and Reprise character, like a banner, on the 11th, which will actually be the evening of the 10th. And I thought that's when it all dropped, but it actually drops now. And then we are getting another banner. So Vice is not the next banner. The next banner, I'm thinking is going to be Oran. So I am going to do a Should You Pull, and I'm going to present it as Oran, but it might not actually be Oran. He's just what I'm really thinking, because it would just be way too long to, like, skip Oran. And he just... And because in JP he was on a Crevasse event, this just feels like the place you put him. Because the Crevasse isn't like a standard event. I don't know that we're even going to get that Crevasse. Like, Crevasse is a very unique thing. And the JP Crevasse, and maybe a JP player can let me know, that could have just been a rerun of a global Crevasse or something, right? Or an iteration of it. Those types of events, they're just so unique. So I could see them just saying, yeah, we're not doing Crevasse and we're doing Reprise instead. This could be replacing Crevasse, essentially. And then they're going to throw Oran in there. I'm really hopeful of that. So we'll see. So yeah, so basically I'm just kind of going through this fight. And I'm kind of wanting to get this done without them getting their force time, right? So I thought Pinello here was really nice too, because I felt like in this fight I could get away with all the echo, because I felt like Yuffie would just be strong enough to power through. So you notice what I kind of did here was I took like 2... maybe mid to okay-ish characters, and then brought a very powerful character, right? So I figured Ferris is almost kind of a fodder character right now, to be honest. Like, Ferris was really cool when she first got her FR. I thought her damage was really good at the time. But right now, she just isn't that great, other than her utility of being able to do all the debuffs and everything. So that's definitely why we threw Ferris in here. And we were able to get through this fight just fine. So the other mechanic we gotta talk about. So you notice that this boss has the sweepers, right? So this is kind of like the zombie effect, where like the boss at the threshold will send so you can see the boss has like 3 thresholds right in the middle. At those thresholds, the boss is going to send the sweepers at you. And if the sweepers are above 50% HP, they auto kill you. And the thing is if you go in a burst phase and you get through all 3 thresholds and you don't kill him, he's going to come out and like he'll resummon sweepers and send them at you at full health and kill you. So the strat I figured out very quickly in this fight is I wanted to go into just a really big fat... And the way his HP was going down, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Yuffie can just one-shot this. So my goal here was really to just get the gauge up as much as I could. And so you can see Penelo there, she does 123% ramp. So I'm like, yeah, I can kind of just like ramp on Penelo a little bit too, and just really push the gauge up and just give Yuffie some big fat turns. So that's kind of what I was going for here. So I timed it so that like Penelo did a ramp. I knew Ferris had to take an attack. And then basically I can go into Yuffie's burst phase at turn 7 if I want to, right? And then kind of go to town from there. And Yuffie's got 5 turns left on her burst effect. So I'm like, yeah, now's kind of the time to do it. Now, 422 isn't the craziest, right? And that's kind of what I get for not really running a full Echo team. I figured it was worth it to burn a turn to put Reigns on. I figured having the launching here would be very helpful. So I did decide to go and do that. So I did sacrifice kind of a turn of my force time for this. But we're still going to get good damage on the Reigns attack, right? That's the thing. His call still does pretty good damage, right? So we'll take that damage there. And then Yuffie now is going to go burst phase. And we're like, all right, let's go through it. Let's see if we can burn all the way through here. So we got 6 turns left. We're at about 500%. And we're doing some landscaping. That's what Yuffie does. We do some landscaping. So we're going to be killing a lot of sweepers. But he's going to instantly resummon the sweepers. Honestly, a fight like this is a good damage test fight. It's just annoying, though, that there's so many mechanics, right? Like, I can't just run in here and do damage tests because it's like, all right, well, I got to have all the debuffs and I got to have this. And, you know, I kind of want, something I want DOKKAN and DFFOO to do is actually to just literally make like a testing stage. Like a stage where I can pick the boss, set the stats, give the boss whatever mechanics I want, maybe even just not even have the boss's attack, where I could just try out characters, right? Like literally like a training room type of effect. Like that's kind of what I would want both of the games to have, where I can just showcase characters freely and not worry about dying, not worry about mechanics, and just say, hey, in an ideal situation where like you can do all this, this is what the character could do, you know, when you're not being interrupted and all that. I think that would be really fun, just to have a playground stage. But who knows? Probably not something they'll ever do. I think I've heard talks of it for DOKKAN, like, and maybe it's something that's in the works, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, you can see the boss is melting super fast now. And the boss is trying to heal back. Like, after every attack, he gets like a little mini heal of like 1,000,000 health, which isn't going to do anything in Echo, right? So yeah, he's going to get a little baby heal here. Not too much. Yeah, he gets a little baby heal, 1.1 million. We don't care about that. With Force Time, we just burn over that like no problem. And then we're going to launch through. And I think we're going to have this sucker done. Yeah, 21 million there, 12 mil on the sides. We didn't even get the full gauge, right? Like, because I'm not running other Echo characters, you know, Ferris, definitely not a super strong character right now. Like, still got through this pretty well. Because I figured I could get away with that on here because I think... I don't know if these fights are actually, like, tuned differently, but I feel like it's just the straight fight from Dimensions and Transcendence. But they might be... Maybe their HP pool is a little bit higher or something, but I know that because this is an older fight, I just felt like I could get away with bringing, you know, not top-tier characters all the time and kind of preserving some of my better characters, right? So, there you go. I think we pretty much got through it. Now, I was a little nervous here because, like, I wanted to see rainbow numbers, and it didn't show me... Or not rainbow numbers, but purple numbers indicating the boss was going to die. It did not indicate the boss was going to die, but the boss does die. So, we're good. We got it done. Because right there, that attack was not on a force time. 239 mil, not bad for Yuffie. You know, definitely not an optimal setup for her. And there you go. We got through it. So really the key here, if you want to do it the traditional way, is just really make sure you have a debuffer. And then have somebody really strong that can power through those thresholds and kill the boss so he doesn't summon the sweepers on you, right? So anyways, let me know how you handled this fight. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.